Have you ever imagined waking up one day, and realizing that the same man who made you a billionaire, now wants to kill you? It sounds like a movie, right? But this is real. This is the story of Roman Abramovich, the man who helped Vladimir Putin rise to power and ended up becoming a target of the very leader he helped create. A story built on power, loyalty, and fear, and in the end, it shows the true price of playing with destiny. But what really happened between Putin and Abramovich? How did the adopted son of the most powerful man in Russia end up poisoned and exiled? Today you'll discover the rise and fall of a billionaire who thought he could belong to two worlds and paid a high price for it. March 2013. Emergency doctors rush to a mansion in Ascot, England. Inside, they find the body of Boris Berezovsky, the most powerful businessman of 1990s Russia. The official report says, undetermined cause, but everyone knew the truth. Berezovsky made the fatal mistake of challenging Putin. One of his closest friends, Roman Abramovich, watched everything from a distance, not knowing that one day he would face the same destiny. Roman was born in 1966. In the Soviet Union, he lost his parents at 4 years old and grew up in the freezing north with relatives. That childhood made him a survivor. He learned early that in Russia, rules were for people without power. At 16, he quit school, started selling used car tires. Later, during military service, he sold stolen fuel for extra cash. When the Soviet system opened to private business, Roman saw opportunity. A country with no capitalism yet was a goldmine for anyone bold enough. His first business was simple, a small factory that made plastic toys, rubber ducks. It sounds small, but in the Soviet Union, even toys were a luxury, and there selling ducks, Roman learned something powerful. Information was worth more than honesty. In 1992, Abramovich pulled his first big move. He diverted an entire train full of fuel. Using fake documents, he was arrested, but the case disappeared. The company suddenly got compensation. That's when he understood, in the new Russia, money and justice walked hand in hand. Power belonged to those who could make deals. Then came Boris Berezovsky, the man who could turn businessmen into kings. Berezovsky introduced Roman to the political elite. Together, they joined one of the biggest privatization schemes in history, the Loans for Shares program. The government needed money, and businessmen like them offered loans in exchange for company shares, but the auctions were fake. They bought billion-dollar companies for almost nothing. That's how Abramovich and Berezovsky got Sibneft, a massive oil company, for just $100 million each. And they used public money to pay for it. But soon, the dream turned dark. people started dying. A refinery director who resisted found dead. A prosecutor who investigated suddenly fired. The message was clear. No one touched the men who ruled the new empire, with oil under control. Ramang entered the Aluminum Wars, a brutal time when gangsters and businessmen ... fought with guns and bombs ... for factories. Over 100 people died, but Ramang didn't just survive, he adapted. He made peace between enemies, bought broken factories, and used his growing connection with one man, Vladimir Putin. When Putin came to power in 1999, Berezovsky thought he could control him. He was wrong. Putin eliminated rivals and turned old allies into servants. Ramang saw it all and played by the new rules. He supported Putin early, funded campaigns, did favors. Putin respected him and even called him the loyal one. Some said he was like the Tsar's adopted son. In 2005, Abramovich sold Sibneft back to the government, for $13 billion, more than 100 times what he paid. While other billionaires were being jailed or exiled, Ramang was rewarded, but loyalty ... always has a price. Putin sent him to Chukotka, a poor frozen region. His mission, rebuild it ... with his own money. He spent over $2.5 billion on schools, hospitals, and homes. People loved him, but he knew he was still just a servant of the system. In 2003, Abramovich bought Chelsea Football Club, and everything changed. He turned Chelsea into a world powerhouse, brought in stars ... toffees ... fame. London became his new world. Art, yachts, parties, power. He looked untouchable until ... February 22, Russia invaded Ukraine, and Abramovich's empire began to fall. He tried to play both sides. To the West ... negotiator for peace. To Russia, still loyal to Putin. Even Zelensky asked the U.S. not to sanction him. He thought Abramovich could help, but that decision almost cost him his life. March 3, 2022, Kyiv. During a secret meeting, Abramovich and others felt their eyes burn. Their skin turn red ... their vision fade. Experts confirmed chemical poisoning. A message from Putin: "You went too far." Days later, the UK froze all his assets. His yachts ... seized. His houses ... gone. Even Chelsea sold in a rush. The man who had everything now had nothing. Today, he lives between Istanbul and Tel Aviv, quiet, alone, a shadow of his old empire. He's fighting to recover part of his fortune, but deep down ... he knows the real loss was power. The man who thought he could be both, Putin's friend and the West's hero, learned that no one can serve two masters. Ramang Abramovich created his own enemy, and in the end, he was the only man who truly understood the cost of being too close. to power. His story is not just about wealth or betrayal. It's about the thin line between loyalty and survival. In Putin's Russia, fortune is not freedom. It's just the rent you pay to stay alive. And you, what would you choose? Your fortune or your life? Leave your answer in the comments and subscribe for more stories that reveal the hidden side of power.